What do you think about that first half, though, even though it was a tricky start?
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Yeah, for that ban. But I want to ask you about Arsenal. You talk about those deep laying sixes. Arsenal just got Zubimendi. Arsenal looking to improve and talk about the 24-25 season. We again finished second, even though this second feels different to the last two. Finishing way off the title in terms of challenging Liverpool this season. Many injuries to crucial positions and not really doing any business so far in the window. Also are losing potentially both Jorginho and Partey. You know a lot about Jorginho. Watch Partey as well. And you talk to how important that six is. We get Zubimendi, who I think is a really quality player, who I think will unlock a lot for us in the squad. What are your thoughts about Arsenal going forward this next season? And do you think Chelsea have closed the gap on this Arsenal squad to get closer to breaking into that top three?
Well, you know what I think about Arsenal. I think Arsenal is a good side. I think Arsenal has a lot of good players, but I feel like the tactics for Arsenal, they need to do a lot of improvement. So on the Saka plays on the right hand side, I think that Arsenal is very good on the right hand side, but on the left hand side, I feel like Arsenal needs some improvement. And it's not just the winger. I think it's the midfielder that also drifts towards the left hand side.
Yes.
I don't know if Arsenal will be going into the transfer market to look for a winger, but I think that's something that they should look into doing. Also, the same midfielder that drifts out to the left hand side. You guys have players that can play in that position. For example, Kai Havertz. Who else, boy? Kai Havertz.
There sometimes already. Mikel Moreno. He came in there, but then he moved up front. So we do have body. We have Waneri coming through. I could play 10.
Correct.
People are asking Odegaard to move over there. Maybe give Waneri some time. Me, guys like me, I've been saying for a very long time, maybe sign another midfielder. I've been looking at Eze. I've been looking at other guys like Morgan Rogers across the league. And if you look at other leagues across Europe, there's a lot of players that are really good. I just watched Malik Tillman. I watched Malik Tillman for the US, and I think someone like that who can receive the ball in the half spaces and turn and drive at teams, who has that confidence, who has that creativity spark, I think you could get a deal done that you're not going to spend a lot of money and you're still going to get a top quality player who's played at PSV, who's played on one league title. So I think Arsenal definitely should be looking at something to add and bolster the squad, even though if it's not only depth, but in terms of adding to that starting 11, especially on the left wing. Because I think for many times, Saka on the right wing, get doubled up, and then the ball comes over to the left, and we don't really have that same spark of creativity. I mean, I want to ask you one more thing. You talked about the left winger. I know Arsenal fans across the space have been talking about striker for months now. It's coming down to seemingly get Sesko, and Gyokeres. What are your thoughts about Sesko and Gyokeres individually, and who do you think Arsenal should sign? Who is the better fit to you, or who do you think is the better player?
Honestly, I haven't seen them play that much, but I think Gyokeres plays for Sporting, right?
Yeah.
Right. So he has a lot of good numbers. Sesko. Well, I think he plays in the German league. He plays in the German league. Right. But honestly, from numbers, I think Gyokeres would be the better signing. But you know how players when they come to the Premier League, they find it hard to adjust at some points. But I think Gyokeres would be the better signing just from the numbers.
It's been something that Arsenal fans have been debating, because I mean, Chelsea, this goes to show the difference of a Chelsea fan and an Arsenal fan here. And I just want to ask your perspective on this, because to the footballing world, everyone is saying, okay, get Gyokeres. That's the guy that's going to get you goals. His numbers look the best. But if you ask me, I don't know what you think about it, but as a pure footballing talent, Sesko is too similar to a striker that almost everyone in world football wants, Isak. And I think he's so close to being to that level that if he's playing under Mikel Arteta, who's shown he's be a good manager and a good adapter and getting players to be better, like what he did with Saka, what he's done with Saliba, make him one of the best in the world, what he's done with Ben White to make him one of the best right backs in the world. Arteta has shown he can develop players. Like you look at Declan Rice as well. I think as Sesko to that with the dynamic we're seemingly to building, I think Sesko could easily be, with those tangible aspects, one of the best strikers in the world, honestly. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, because do you think it's the manager or you think it's just the mentality of the player? Because some players come to Arsenal and they don't perform, or they come to Arsenal, they perform for a little bit and then they die down. For example, let me say who. All right, Martinelli. Martinelli had a good few seasons. I know last season he didn't really produce that much. I don't know if it was because the tactics kind of change up and the ball more goes towards Saka on the right hand side, and he doesn't get the ball as much to actually drive at the players like how he used to do before. But I don't know because, for example, Declan Rice at West Ham, he played a very holding midfielder role, but now I see him more as a box to box, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
he gets forward, he gets back, he scores goals, he wins the ball. He's a box to box midfielder that is look to do everything. So I don't know if it's really Arteta because he's been at Arsenal for quite a while now, maybe 3-4 seasons. Is it 3-4 seasons?
Actually, he's been there longer than that. I think this going into this one is going to be his 5th full season and
Fifth,
6th
right.
season overall. Yeah,
And
but yeah, it's
and
going to be like 5.5, almost 6 years now.
yeah, and how much trophies has he won?
Well, if you're counting like the major in-season tournaments, I think only one, and that's the FA Cup.
Right. So I don't know because sometimes with Arsenal, it just feel like the players I don't want to say don't want to play or they just lack creativity going forward. But I feel like you guys just really need to fix that the midfielder on the left hand side and get a new winger because the wing back is good. The wing back is this guy that
Calafiori?
pardon me,
You mean Calafiori
not California, the other guy.
or Lewis Kelly?
No, um he's from Holland.
Oh, Timber.
Yeah, Timber is really nice. I think Timber this hold his own. Timber is get forward. Timber is putting crosses. But I think Arsenal needs that little bit more driving force and creativity going forward to really get that first place Premier League spot.
Now, I agree with you, and that's something, to be honest, I've been saying for this whole season. People are talking about adding a striker, adding all these things, and I say yes, I agree with that. But creativity is something we need to address, and bodies as well as creativity. We haven't. We look at that bench. I'm looking at what 3 left backs for majority of the season. You have 3 left backs, and you have a kid in Waneri, and you have another whoever it was, maybe sometimes Sterling or Trossard, whoever it was, coming off the bench. That's not really good enough when you're looking at going up against Liverpool, who have Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, Salah, Jota, abundance of attacking quality that they could pull from in the starting 11 and off the bench. Arsenal just didn't have that this season, especially when you look at the back end of the season. We played Mikel Moreno up front for the back half of the season. Not good enough. Yes, he did a good job, but we need to add strength in numbers, but also quality as well. So I could appreciate that. I could appreciate that analysis. But to answer your question about Mikel Arteta, if I think it's Mikel Arteta in terms of players like Martinelli, I think we're adding a player like Zubamendi to the squad, and I've been saying this for so long. I think watching him play, see how he plays with the Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal, I think that's going to open up a lot for the squad. Watching Zubamendi play with Mikel Moreno in the Nations League and watching them play in the Euros last summer, at times it was like, okay, I can see the vision now for what this team can look like at full capacity in terms of Martinelli breaking and having more space to run at his defenders, or whoever that left winger is. From reports, it would be Rodrigo. Do you think Rodrigo is a ceiling raiser for this Arsenal squad? And if Arsenal have a front three of Rodrigo, Sesko, Saka, is that powerful enough with obviously Trossard and Martinelli off the bench? Is that strong enough to lift the Premier League title?
I mean, on paper, it sounds like it would, but I need to see them play together. You understand what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.